Hey folks, back with another early career designer portfolio review. I thought I had shared one last week and clearly I did not. So I'm also late for this one's. It has been a really busy couple of weeks. I'll fill you in on more of that later. For now, let's take a look at Shreya Choudhury's portfolio. We're already losing the word. Okay, it's going to be a day. All right, let's see. So, and then it disappears because I'm doing great. Here we go. I want to make sure I'm on the right website, and it looks like okay, so we've got, we're using Google Sites. I don't typically see that, but I am totally fine with that. Lots of folks might tell you, you absolutely have to have your own URL for a website. No, you don't. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. So just an FYI, I think that is perfectly fine. You introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Shreya. Driven by the intricacies of human behavior, I bridge disciplines to create user-centered design solutions. I'm going to tell you right now that sounds very floofy and high level and almost as if you got ChatGPT to help you, but like talk to me like I'm a human. What are you actually into? What are you excited about? I'm dedicated to creating transformative experiences, take out transformative, that empower users and propel organizations forward. Towards what? Let's work together to conceptualize and design cutting-edge solutions that will make a lasting impact. All right, so my guess is you are a UX designer, maybe not necessarily a visual designer, but who knows? Okay, we've got humans navigate their environment, multi-step planning over time and development, psychology researcher, UX designer, okay, so you're a researcher more than anything. That's fantastic. That is not what you say up here. And essentially, you should have it very, very clear at the top of your portfolio, what you do, what you're about, why you're trying to look for work, and make it really easy for the hiring manager who has probably just been sent your portfolio URL and your resume. Make it easy for them to understand what they're looking at and why it matters that they should give you the time of day. So, transformative experiences, first of all, transformative is overused. We are not transforming anything. And typically when we are working with UX, we are not working on cutting edge solutions. That is not typically, in fact, what we want to do. UX is primarily like a best practices based industry. We're not focused on let's create the newest, best, most cutting edge version of anything. All right. So my guess is that you are putting your best work, your best project at the top, but business analyst and computer science engineer, I'm not sure what I'm looking for on this website. So are you a back-end, front-end developer? Are you a UX researcher and designer? It might be necessary for you to dial in what you're working on so that I understand what I can look for. As a hiring manager, what I'm typically looking for is someone who can fit onto my team and kind of mesh with all the other skills of everybody on my team. And if I don't know what you can do, I've already started to lose interest in whatever it is that I'm looking at. So let me click on About Me. Enjoyable user experiences. You've been captivated by synthesizing complex information, strategic mindset. Talk to me like a normal person. Talk to me in a way that helps me understand what you're capable of bringing to my team quickly. So this is good, but I just still don't understand what I'm looking at here. So I'm just going to click on the first one here, discovering account personas based on buying behavior, customer segmentation engine. All right, so actually it looks like you've got keywords, customer behavior, tailored marketing, customer needs fulfillment, cross-functional resource utilization. Data visualization. See, I'm looking at it in the perspective of, are you a UX UI designer, design thinking, user engagement, innovation, competitive analysis, prototyping? All right, let's learn more about this one. All right, so we've got this basic information that we typically see on all of the portfolios, and I gotta let you know, nobody cares about this. We literally do not care who the names of your team members are, or the tools that you used, or how long it took you to do this, or even what you call yourself. Maybe what you call yourself is helpful, but this all can go at the bottom. This is metadata. All right, so the problem is Duolingo is one of the most popular free language learning applications in the world. However, the track record of the language learners of the app is not so great. Redesign Duolingo to enhance user experience and improve language learning success for its users. Now that's a really broad, thank you, ma'am. That's a really broad challenge. And I'm curious if this was the design brief given to you, or is this what you came up with as a project? Our redesign focused on increasing user engagement by introducing a new flow for personalized learning journeys. The application now adapts lessons to meet individual language learning needs. We implemented feedback prompts after lessons and at specific checkpoints in the user's journey. Visual design principles guided our redesign. We added progress indicators and intuitive icons and removed the distracting heart gamification element based on user feedback. Okay. And then your process. I don't need to know about the double diamond. Lots of people say that they include it because they think that's what hiring managers are looking for. In fact, I am more happy to see this right here. I'm not happy to see it in an image, but user interviews, secondary research, competitive testing or analysis, crazy eights, brainstorming, Scamper, $100 test, paper prototype, medium fidelity prototype, high fidelity prototype, usability testing, and heuristic evaluation. All of these are exactly what I expect to see under process. What are the things that you can do? What are the skills that you know and understand? And how, again, as a hiring manager, how do you fit onto my team? All right. So again, I'm looking at your portfolio from the perspective of someone who might be interested in hiring an early career designer. I am building Level 11 Technologies, an apprenticeship agency, and I don't do the kinds of portfolio reviews for the way I bring on my apprentices, but I am still reviewing your portfolio as if I was. So one of the things that I don't love to see is output. This is stuff that you gathered as part of your research, and I know you feel obligated to put it on your portfolio because that's what you were told to do in most of your boot camps. However, I don't really care about the output of what you did. I care about the outcome. So you've created user interviews and you've put things on sticky notes, and again, we have a bunch of text and an image, which is not accessible. So that makes it really difficult to process. In order to gain insights into the user experience and gather feedback regarding the current version of Duolingo, we carried out 6 user interviews. These interviews involved individuals with diverse language learning motivations and at various stages in their language learning journey. That does not actually help me understand what you did for discovery and defining the problem. So it sounds like you were handed the problem of redesign Duolingo with this in mind, which is an interesting challenge to give someone in a boot camp. But I don't care about this. What came out of your user interviews? Tell me your takeaways. Tell me something that multiple users shared as it's something that you as a guiding solution or a guiding criteria for you to move to the next stage. Because right now you're just telling me we did this without telling me that it mattered. Let's take a look at competitive testing. Competitive analysis is typically what we would say. Competitive testing. Testing is kind of a different word. It has a pretty specific meaning. So I would adjust that to competitive analysis. Additionally, we conducted a comparative evaluation of Duolingo against 4 other popular language learning applications available in the market. So Busuu, again, we are looking at an image with a whole bunch of text in it, and I cannot read this. So we got Rosetta Stone, it looks like, Memrise, Babbel, and then Busuu. I think this is not helpful for me to understand the decisions that you were able to make. So what this tells me is that you know how to use the competitive analysis tool and that you know how to create pretty dots on a graph, but it doesn't tell me that you know how to make decisions based on the information that you learned. So we got some key insights. Let's find out. Through our findings, we discovered that the majority of users of language learning applications were dedicated learners. However, many of them faced challenges due to their busy schedules or the need to learn specific language aspects within a limited time frame. They expressed difficulties in achieving their goals using the current format of Duolingo. Now, as a person who is also challenged to learn language, my biggest question is Duolingo really the right solution to meet their needs? Because if they're learning specific language aspects, that's not how Duolingo is set up. That's not how Babbel is set up. This is actually more appropriate with those goals. It's more appropriate for them to use individual coaching, meeting with someone that they actually speak and practice with. So I'm wondering like what context you also brought into this. It would be appropriate for you to say, it maybe seemed to us that this might not be the ideal solution, but let's see what we can come up with. And again, this is not an insight. You have identified some problems, assumptions, and goals. You hope this redesign will motivate learners to consistently try to improve their language learning skills while feeling encouraged, satisfied, and rewarded. What about Duolingo is not already meeting that goal? Because yes, I mean, Duolingo has a bunch of gamification elements and it tries to get you to be motivated, but like there's some intrinsic motivation that has to come along with this. And again, these are not insights. If these are the insights, you're expecting me to read text that is really small and really difficult to read on an image. And I'm also wondering what this looks like when we look at it with a device emulator. Cool. So I can read the text, but reading that image is going to be even harder. All right. Identifying opportunity. After identifying 3 key opportunity areas in interaction, engagement, and process, what do you mean? Where's that? Where's interaction, engagement, and progress? And they're relevant how might we questions. No. I would actually like to see what are your how might we questions. Creating the right question is part of being a UX designer and a UX researcher. So if you want me to believe that you have the skills that are research and design, I actually want to see the questions that you came up with. And I'd also like to know what is interaction, engagement, and progress. Is that something in here? You have not brought me along to understand what you're talking about. So you've created a case study that literally drops me off. I have no information about what's happening next. And then we decided to focus our redesign to address the issue of engagement. Again, I'm starting to question your UX research and your UX design because let's be real, Duolingo has been built for engagement. How am I supposed to believe that apparently a group of, from September to December, people who have completed probably a boot camp, how might you actually make it more engaging? I feel like they have an entire team dedicated to determining engagement. Jahan, a non-beginner Duolingo user who's learning Japanese, needs to customize their learning journey. So something that you do not need to also be aware of. I'm going to use the inspect tool and I'm going to go up here beside elements. And beside that device emulator is the element selector. And you need to know that that is not passing accessibility guidelines. So you've also made it really difficult for me as a user to review your portfolio. This text is not passing the bare minimum of accessibility contrast, and then your highlights are passing even less. 1.49 to 1 is practically invisible. So consider what it looks like. I'm going to use the Spectrum Google Chrome extension. I'm going to start cycling through some of these different types of color vision deficiency, and they make it really difficult to process the information on your website because not all of these are easy to see and they don't stand out the way you think they might. So I'm getting rid of that. But basically, don't show me output, show me outcome. What did you come up with as a result of doing these activities? Literally anyone could have done these activities. What did you determine was the right course of action because you did those activities? So we've decided how might we change the heart system to keep them from leaving the app prematurely? How might we make gamification motivational rather than tedious? Again, I feel like we're not entirely understanding the use of gamification. It is almost never tedious. It might be the variety of need-based lessons that might be tedious. They want to get to something that is more important to them than what they're currently working on. And that might be a learning journey structure, sure. But changing the heart system and gamification motivational, I feel like you haven't done any research on what gamification is. It is the definition of working with behavioral modification and motivation. So that makes me question. All right, we're in the ideate section. Crazy eights and brainstorming. Each of us came up with 4 to 8 small ideas. I don't care that 4 of you or 8 of you or 6 of you did this. I want to know what was the one that you all agreed on had the most interesting features. After looking at all of these different ideas, what features did you determine were a little more interesting than another one? So just because you did it, it doesn't matter. What came out of it? Each member presented their ideas to the group. We collectively identified shared themes and categorized them accordingly. We also eliminated less significant ideas or those that did not directly address the issue of engagement. Give me more. I want to know more. This is actually helpful. Maybe this would be appropriate for you to kind of keep more in close contact with these images. And next, we used Scamper to try and converge our ideas into bigger key ideas. Finally, we did a quick prioritization exercise with the $100 test for our key ideas. Again, these are where you show your decision-making skills. It does not matter that you have the ability to put squares on a screen or draw sketches. It matters that you understand how to make decisions. We are knowledge workers. Using our hands to create things is just a product of what we do. It's what comes out of our brain that matters. Design. All right, and this is way too small. I can't even open it, like click on it and open it in a new tab. So you're making it very, very, very difficult for anyone to get interested in what you're showing them because you're just giving them an output instead of taking them through the story. I'd actually love to see more of the storyboard so that you say, all right, based on the research that we did, based on our understanding of our users, here's the story that we're telling. And then you can tell this story as you continue to explain the design. We created process flow diagrams as shown below. Stop using we. This is not a shared portfolio case study. This is your portfolio case study. So if you did this work and you contributed to this work, you say, I created process flow diagrams to show the prototyping activities. But more importantly, if this is not, this is process flow, sure, but unless it's super necessary for someone to assume how this works or to understand how this works, is it necessary or can we get to the important stuff? We created the following paper prototypes. These helped us brainstorm several options for the given information architecture. Again, output, not outcome. What did you do? Did you test with the paper prototypes? Were you able to put them in front of someone and get them to go, oh, I see, I understand this, makes sense? That could have been your early usability testing. After brainstorming a few versions of paper prototypes, we went straight to medium fidelity. This is interesting. And then we have dark mode. Evaluate. We tested the medium fidelity prototypes by conducting user testing and heuristic evaluations. We also internally rated our prototype against the visual design principles checklist. What checklist? The following I would love to know what that means. Internally rated our prototype against the visual design principles checklist. I don't know of a checklist. Maybe there is. Maybe there's 20 versions of one. If you're going to say, hey, we use something really specific to grade it, tell me what that is. Usability testing, high usefulness ratings, low usefulness ratings for the revamped hearts gamification image. I don't even see hearts on here, so it's very interesting. What's going on with this? Why is it stretched out weird? All right. Heuristic evaluation, improve match between system and real world by including a smart personalized practice icon. Tell me more about that. What in the real world is associated with my personalized practice icon? Consistency by simplifying language and color in personalized practice. Consistency with call to action language, that's good. Enhance system status visibility and recommend options with clear call to action buttons for feedback screens. Again, tell me more about this. It feels like we're just using some terms that we know are associated with usability heuristics, but they don't tell me how you evaluated that and understood it. I actually prefer, show me like the one heuristic that you really understood you were breaking and how you brought that back into meeting that heuristics requirements for success. Incorporated changes, remove the heart feature, change section headings, align the typography, and made sure all call to action buttons were consistent. Is that the incorporated changes from the usability testing or from the entire change? The most important thing I would want to know from this is before, where was it? Jahan. At the beginning, Jahan was unable to do this. At the end, with our design changes, with my design changes, Jahan was able to do this. I want to tie it together. What's the outcome? What's the final recovery? What is the takeaway that people go, that's why you did that work. Well done. Right now, I feel like I've got half of a story and not all of the elements are as meaningful as we would like them to be. Tell me more about, is this a clickable thing? Why am I clicking to that? That's so weird. Okay. This was really interesting to review. I think you've got some updates that you can make to make this a lot stronger, and tell me more about what was the outcome of the actions you took, not just what actions did you take. That's the biggest takeaway. Hope this was helpful. I hope everyone who's watching has a fantastic day. Please leave your comments for Shreya below, and I will see you on next week's portfolio review.